Hello everyone and welcome to Introduction to Intermediate Algebra. I'm Andre Tone and I love math and here are some of the goals that we're going to cover today. I'm going to talk about addition and subtraction, about addition and subtractions of multiple terms, the invisible one, and lastly multiplication and division of negative numbers. Now if you have any questions along all these course, I encourage you to take some notes and write them down and write me an email at the end with your questions, and I'll try my best to cover and to answer to your questions in my next presentation. So here we go, going to addition and subtractions. It's really important to know that we can add if the letters and exponents following them are exactly the same. So if the letters and exponents following them are exactly the same. And here's the first example, 2x plus 3x equals 5x, because you have the same letters. You have the same, you have x and then x in the second group, so that's 5x. Second example, you have 2x plus 3y. So you have different letters. You have x and y. So this cannot, we cannot add 2x plus 3y. So it's going to stay the same. It is going to equal 2x plus 3y. Third example, you have 2x squared plus 3x cubed. And you see it's different. You have cube and square. So the exponents are different, which makes it uh, which makes the result the same. So you can't change it. So it's going to stay 2x squared plus 3x cubed. Going further to our fourth example, we have 3ab plus 3ac. Now you can see two groups of letters. In the first one you have AB and the second group is AC. Now because the letters are different in both groups, AB and AC, you can't add them. You can't have 3AB plus 3AC. The result is going to be exactly the same, 3AB plus 3AC, because the letters in both groups are different. All right, going further to our last example, with subtractions, we have 5ab minus 2ab. You can see both groups. In both groups, you have the same letters. You have AB in the first one and then AB in the second one. And in this case, you can actually subtract. So you're going to have 5ab minus 2ab. That's going to make it 3ab. Here's a short review. In the first example, we saw 2x plus 3x, the same letters. So that's going to make it 5x. The second example, we saw 2x plus 3y, different letters. So the result was the same, 2x plus 3y. The third example, we saw the exponents different. We had 2 and then we had 3 here. We had square and then cube. So we couldn't add the numbers and the letters. So we had the same result here. In the fourth example, we saw two different groups of letters, A, B, and then AC. So because they were different, we couldn't add the sum, so it was exactly the same. And in the last example, we saw that we had the same group of letters, AB and AB in the second one. So we did 5AB minus 2AB, that gave us 3AB. All right, going further to the second topic for today, addition and subtraction of multiple terms. And it is really important to know that the way we add multiple numbers in basic math, we may have to add multiple terms. And here's the first example that I want to show it to you. So we have 2ab plus 5bc. You already see it's a different group of letters. Plus 4ab, the same like the first one, minus 3bc, same like the second group here. So what we can do, we can add 2ab plus 4ab, which will make it down here 6ab. And then we can add 5bc minus 3bc, because we have the same group of letters, BC here, and then BC here. So 5 minus 3, that's going to give us 2. And then we're going to drag the BC down here. What we cannot do is we cannot add 5AB plus 2AB because they have different letters. See, AB and then BC, they're quite different. So the final answer is going to be 6AB plus 2BC. Going further, talking about the invisible one, whenever you see a group of letters without the number before, that means it's a 1 before. So here's a practical example. We have 4ab plus ab, which is actually 4ab plus 1ab, which is 5ab. Going further to another example, we have 2xy plus xy. We know that before this xy, there is a 1, there is an invisible 1, which will make it 3xy. We added because we have the same group of letters, xy in the first group, and then xy in the second group. That's 3xy. Going further, here's a chapter review. We talked about adding this 2ab, this group of letters with this group of letters, and then the BC group of letters with the BC group of letters. So it has 6ab from like 2 plus 4, 6, and then 5 minus 3, that's 2, and then BC because of the group of letters that was after the number. We had this example of AB, which is actually 1AB, the invisible 1. And here was a more practical example where you had 4AB plus AB, which is actually 4AB plus 1AB, which is actually 5AB. And then another example where we had 2xy plus xy. We know there's a 1 here, the invisible 1, which is 2 plus 1 is 3, and then xy, we carried on these two letters. All right, going further, multiplication and division of negative numbers. Rule number 1 is negative times a positive number will always give us a negative number, or positive times negative will always give us a negative number. Here's the first example. We have a negative number times a positive number. It will give you a negative number. So negative, positive, negative result. And then here we have the positive number times a negative number. You're going to have a negative result as well. So 2 times negative 6, that's going to give you negative 12. Going further to rule number 2, when you have a negative times a negative number, the answer is going to be positive. So here's the first example. We have negative 3 times negative 4. Both numbers are negative. The answer is going to be 12. The second example, you have a negative 2 times negative 6 equals 12. It's a positive answer. So two negative numbers is going to equal positive answer. Division and negative numbers, it's exactly the same rule as multiplication. You have negative divided by a positive, you will have a negative answer, and then positive divided by negative, you will have a negative 2. Here's the first example. Negative 8 divided by 4 is going to give you a negative answer, which is negative 2. Second example, we have a positive number, 6 divided by negative 2. So we have a positive and a negative number is going to equal negative 3. As you see here, you will have a negative answer. Going further, rule number 2, negative divided by negative, you're going to have a positive answer. First example, negative 8 divided by negative 2, you're going to have a positive answer, which is 4. Second example, negative 16 divided by negative 8 is going to be positive. So whenever we have two negative numbers divided, you're going to have a positive answer. It's exactly the same as multiplication. When you multiply two negative numbers, you're going to have a positive result. Here's a lesson review. Today we learned about addition and subtractions. Addition and subtractions of multiple terms. The invisible one, multiplication and division of negative numbers, multiplication of two negative numbers. And what I encourage you to do, I would love to get connected with you and to hear your feedback. And if there's something that you think you need a better clarification of like any of these equations, if you think I went too fast through it, just shoot me an email and ask me any questions that you have. I'll be glad to answer to any of your questions. Thanks for sticking with me for these 10 minutes, and looking forward to seeing you next time.